Okay, we are live. We are live. We are live. Hooray. I tell you what, for a minute there, I was going to be able to get on. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I tell you what, it has been more than a notion, and it has been a minute since I have been on. So I want to start off by first saying thank you to everyone who sent me notes of well-being and just kind of connected with the notes that Mickey Blue Skies put up about how I was feeling. But I tell you guys what, it has been more than a notion. It's been a good 2 or 3 weeks since I have been on. My YouTube revenue has been in free fall. My views are down, everything's down, but you know what? I'm doing okay. And I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Let's hope things stay going good. So let me just say hello to people that are here. So hello, Sally, and then hello, Lurker Smurf. Yes, I am feeling well enough for YouTube. I had planned to come on last week. Well, let me finish saying hello first. Hello, Yolanda. And then I was having technical difficulties, and I still am. I don't know what's going on with the printer, so I had to come up with a plan B. But hey, Tam, thank you for being here. And then, well, again, there's Sally, and then here's Michelle. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. I appreciate that, and for even checking in to say hello. So I had planned to be on a week ago today. Last Wednesday, I was going to come on and do this same thing. I was going to say I'm back and then let you guys know how I've been doing and then how to get back on track. And on that particular day, well, first of all, I had surgery. As you guys can see, I had surgery about 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I had surgery on this hand and wrist. So I was in bed with my hand on a pillow or up like this or up like that, taking pain medication, ice packs, the whole 9 yards. So a week ago today, I was feeling really good. It was the best I felt since I'd had the surgery. So I thought, okay, I can kind of start gradually getting back into things. So I got up. I was downstairs in the kitchen, and I had unloaded the dishwasher and got the dishes put away. And then I had an order for one of those a Mother's Day aprons. And so I had gotten that all packed up and set aside for my husband because I was kind of able to do that with one hand. I just took my time. And then I smelled something that smelled like gas. And all of a sudden I thought, I'm getting a headache. And then I thought, my head is starting to kind of throb and pound. I thought, I need some fresh air. So I went out and sat on the porch, but it wasn't getting any better. So I had to come back in the house, lay down on the sofa. I was just feeling horrible. And it got to the point that my head was like pulsating. I just thought something bad is happening. I told my husband, I said, I think you're going to need to take me to the hospital. And he was putting my shoes on me. Then I thought, I think you better call 911 because I kept thinking something's going to happen before we even get to the hospital. So we called 911, had the paramedics come out, the whole 9 yards. And when I was smelling the gas, my husband and the gas man were in the garage working on something. I don't know what they were doing, but the gas man was out there doing something. And he said, my husband didn't smell anything. The gas man didn't smell anything, but he thought, well, I'll check it. And, they have some equipment that they can use to tell if there's any gas smell, if there's carbon monoxide or whatever. He did all of that, but there was nothing that he could find. But I was obviously getting worse by the second, not the minute, but by the second. So by the time the paramedics got there, I could just barely speak. And so they kept asking me if I had high blood pressure. And I'm like, no, I don't have high blood pressure. I'm probably one of the few Black people who don't have high blood pressure. And I learned later my blood pressure had gone up to like 200 over like 92. Whatever it was that I smelled triggered that event. So I ended up in the ER. They did all this lab work, couldn't find anything wrong. They did blood gases, the whole 9 yards. There was no carbon monoxide poisoning. Everything was fine. They couldn't figure it out. But evidently, I'm just very sensitive to chemical smells. So So when that happened on Wednesday, needless to say, I wasn't going to be able to do the show last Wednesday night. So Blue Skies put up another message that, I'm still not available. And she just said that I was having more trouble with my hand. But like, I had her call. She called Leona, Miss Leona and Miss Mary and somebody else she called to let them know what was really going on. But I tell you what, it was Michelle, it was really scary. And Lurker said she was wondering, was I having a stroke? And I thought the way I was feeling, you would have thought that, but I didn't have any of those kind of symptoms. Whatever I smelled triggered that event. And since then, I've just been really tired. And so I've had to take more frequent naps. And then I have episodes of vertigo from time to time. And when it gets bad, I have to take this medication to help control that. And then that makes me drowsy and sluggish. So I've been taking that to get my head kind of back in shape. But for the most part, though, I am doing much better. So I'm not going to spend this whole time talking about me feeling bad, but I just want you guys to know where I've been. And so, Michelle, it was really scary, and I'm just glad that I am okay. And so, everyone is saying, welcome back, continue to heal. And trust me, I tell you what, I accept all the prayers and God's grace for healing because I have needed them. So, yes, so thank you guys very much for that. So, I appreciate that. So, what I thought I would do for today's show is just let you little know again, like what I've been doing. So, that lets you know about, the hard part, the surgery and then the ER visit and all of that. And I spent a lot of time laying in bed with my arm up or, kind of drowsing, just trying to regroup my energy. So today was the day that I thought, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to get up and I'm going to stretch today. I was just going to stretch because I couldn't do yoga. Doctor said no yoga for 2 weeks because, you have to do those planks and you have your hand down like that. Well, I can't quite do that yet. So no yoga for 2 weeks. So I thought, I'm just going to do some stretching. So I got the yoga mat out, started the stretching, and I was like stretching for about 2 or 3 minutes when I heard the toilet gurgle. And I thought, well, that's an odd sound and it doesn't sound good. And so I got up, went in the bathroom, looked, and I could just see the water in the toilet bowl just kind of bubbling a little bit. Well, I had also decided to start a load of laundry. And if you guys remember a couple years ago, I had an incident where the washer was backing up into the toilet and the water was shooting up just like a cartoon. So I thought, hope that's not what's happening. So I thought, okay, I went back, got back on the floor, got ready to do some more exercising. And then I heard a big bubble, ran back in there. Water was coming up to the toilet bowl and starting to spill out. I'm like, oh my God. Now, my husband had just left to go pick up bait. He has been sticking to me like glue for the past 2.5 weeks. He's been so sweet. So he leaves to go pick up bait because he plans to go fishing tomorrow. And I'm like, water is coming out the toilet and it's starting to flood the floor. Well, I can't grab the mop and do anything like that. So I grabbed my phone and ran to the garage to call him. And when I opened the garage door was up, which meant he had just got back. I'm like, babe, there's water in the bathroom. He comes running in and he sees what's happening. So then, he gets the mop and he cleans up all the water. And that takes a good while because, of course, the wash machine is continuing to cycle. So when it drains, more water comes up through the toilet bowl. So it's like, babe, shut the washing machine off. So I shut the washing machine off. But when you turn the off button off, it drains. So then it's draining and there's more water. It was a nightmare. So then we had that happen today. So it's just like, I'm like, just when I keep thinking I'm getting back on track, something crazy happens. But I thought, okay, if that's the least of the worries, it's like it could have been worse. So yes, Stacy, I am okay. And And yeah, Gigi, whatever it was, whatever that is, they said it wasn't gas. They said whatever I was smelling was not gas. Now, the gas guy had painted, those round, like drum like things that's in the ground that the gas people can access to go underneath. He did put some paint on that. And he said it could have been that green paint that he used that I was smelling, but whatever. But yes, I have had a week. And so Lurker says she's been in the middle of plumbing issues too. And then Leona had plumbing issues last week. But yeah, it has just been crazy. Luann, you just would not have believed it. So anyway, we got all that taken care of, got that situated. So yeah. So in addition to that, and part of what I did also while I was resting, I tell you what, I have listened to at least 5, 6, or 7 books on my Kindle, books on CD that I've just listened to on my Kindle because I really wasn't good enough to like actually read on many days, but I could listen. So I've gone through probably 3 or 4 books in the Westcott series, in the Bridgerton series, David Baldacci. I've just been reading all kinds of stuff. So I'm certainly more literate than I have been because I've gone through at least 8 different books in this time period. So if you're just joining us, I'm Denise Jordan, and I'm the host for Homemaking with Purpose. And today I'm letting you know where I've been, what I've been doing, and how to get back on track. And so today's episode of Homemaking with Purpose is, wait a minute, I'm not sure. Oh, what's happening here? I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening here. There's been weird things happening. So is everybody? It's okay. All of a sudden, I was just talking. I'm like, my goodness, where was that? So I wanted to let you know that this episode of Homemaking with Purpose is brought to you by Apron Diva, our online apron boutique. Pretty and practical. We believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. So I would like for you to visit us at www.aprondiva.com, and let me just show you um, what we've got going on for you. We've got some new things in for Mother's Day. So we've got some really pretty spring-like and summer-like aprons to celebrate your mom, your sister, your aunt, but for the women in your life. So please do check these out. This is our new True Elegance collection. And one of the things you guys will notice we do is we tend to name our aprons after people in our lives. So there's new names and there's new pieces for all of these. And then, of course, we've got those pink that's inspired by Barbie. This one is called Chrissy. It's named after my niece. This one is Ronnie, and this one is Fleur. And then, of course, we've got Mary, we've got Leona, and this one is Harper, Hazel, Hillary, Jerry, and then Kat. So pretty and practical. We believe that an apron can be your best accessory. So do visit us at www.aprondiva.com. So glad you guys could see those. So Stacy says that I've definitely not had a dull moment. I'm moving the hand pretty good, but don't overdo it. Stacy, I'm moving it pretty good this way, and I'm doing this every day, and I'm doing these things like this, but I keep the brace on so that I don't overdo it. So yeah. So okay. So Lurker wants to know, are they over-the-shoulder pinafores? She said she can't wear anything that rests on her neck. No, they do tie at the back of the neck, like most of them. So I do have some half aprons that don't tie at the back of the neck. I don't have any of the over-the-shoulder pinafores. I did have a few last year, but I haven't had any lately. Okay, so now what I want you to think about is what to do when you've been off your square. That's one of the things that our pastor says all the time, this or that. Oh, Hillary, yes, I thank you for your prayers. And did you see the new piece we've got that's named after you? But One of the things that the pastor talks about sometimes is he'll say, when you've been off your square, if you get knocked off your square. So trust me, I have definitely been knocked off my square for the past almost 3 weeks. So, what do you do when you get knocked off your square? How do you get back on track? And there's a couple of things that you want to do to help get yourself back on track. And tip number one is to start small. Just kind of begin with something that's manageable, maybe one or two manageable tasks that you can focus on, like maybe tidying up your living room or tackling a load of laundry, but you're going to break those tasks down into something manageable. So I started with the kitchen. And like I said, my husband has been doing everything. He's been doing all the cleaning. He's been doing all the cooking. He's been washing all the dishes, cleaning up the kitchen. He's been doing all the things that he knows that needs to be done. Now, men and women often don't see things the same way. And what I see as needs to be clean, he may not. Or what I might see as a priority, he may not. So he's been cooking every day. He's been washing all the dishes. He's been doing all the things. And I've been like living like the Queen of Sheba, sitting in bed with my arm up or whatever. So, but the kitchen has not been the way I would like to see it kept. He put the dishes away, but he doesn't always put things where I would like for them to be. So, of course, I'm not going to make a big deal out of that because I appreciate his effort. But I thought, okay, I can get into the kitchen today. I can unload the dishwasher. I can get everything back in order where it needs to be. So, and I did start there. So I unloaded the dishwasher, and there were a few things on the counter and in the sink, and I put those things in the dishwasher because I can't get this arm wet. So I can't wash dishes just yet, but I can take a shower and I can let water run down over it, but I can't like let water soak into it. So I could like pick up a dish or wait a minute, pick up a dish or something like that a little bit and then kind of put some things in. So I started with that. And then I made a very easy, very simple meal. And I did try to shoot the video. We'll see what happens. I had a grocery haul video, but I lost all the footage. So we'll see how this video comes out. But I made a dinner that was very simple. And I used one of my cans of Grable Country Meats, the beef chunks. And I made the beef Manhattan. And for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know this either, beef Manhattan was actually developed in Indiana. And it was it was named by some factory workers. I guess they had this particular recipe at a particular restaurant. And I cannot remember now exactly what it was, but they were either the Manhattan line or something like that. But it was called beef Manhattan after something that these workers were doing in Indiana. Had nothing to do with Manhattan, New York, which I was surprised to find out. So I thought, okay, I can just make some mashed potatoes, and I used instant potatoes, and and I opened the can of beef, and I had some mushroom gravy in the freezer, and I thawed that out in the microwave, and then added some beef broth and some of the Better Than Base beef to that to make the real rich brown beef gravy. And with the beef Manhattan, you put a slice of bread on a plate, and then you put on a scoop of mashed potatoes, and then you layer that with roast beef, and then another scoop of mashed potatoes, and then you pour gravy all over that, and then sprinkle it with a little parsley or something like that. So I made that for dinner. It was really easy to do, and that was the first meal I cooked, but I was exhausted. So even though I picked a very simple meal and one that didn't require a lot of use of his hand, it was still very fatiguing. So after I got that done, then I went and laid down for a while, and my husband did all of the cleanup. So tip number one, when you're getting back on track, is going to be to start small. Begin with a manageable task, and then just focus on something small, one or two small things. So there was that. And as I said too, on that day, I started with cleaning up the kitchen, but I wasn't able to finish. So I got dinner made, I got the counter cleaned off, I got all the dishes in the dishwasher put away, and then new things that were out, I got those put into the dishwasher. but I wasn't able to get over and say wipe down the table or sweep the floor. I was just too worn out to do that. So I had to delegate that to him. So, but there's that. I got that done. So, tip number 2 is that you want to consider creating a schedule. So now you guys know I already have a daily routine, a weekly plan, and my my daily routine of switch and swipes and that kind of thing. Then I have my weekly plan, and then I have my zone work that I normally do. So I already have a schedule. However, here's the thing. I could not just jump in and do all of that schedule. So, like I tell my young homemakers, when something happens and you're off track, is to just step in where you are. So, what that means is just step in and maybe just try to do your daily routines, like your daily swish and swipes and that kind of thing. If today is Tuesday and it's your free day, you can either keep it a free day, or if you're supposed to be doing some kind of a zone work, then you can choose to do whatever piece of zone work you want to do for that. So what I found though was I could step in and like start some work in the kitchen. I really wasn't able to yet get to the other parts of my routine. I wasn't able to do the swish and swipes because I really couldn't keep my hand down that long. And I just got too tired after all that had taken place. So there's that. So again, create a schedule for yourself and then create a schedule that's realistic. But if you already have a schedule or you already have a routine, then just step in where you are. Don't try to make up for all the things that you didn't get done. Just step in for that particular day. Just do that. Tip number 3 is going to be to prioritize your tasks. So prioritize what really needs to be done. So when I thought, okay, I want to get up and try to do something, I thought, well, what really needs to be done? I thought the kitchen, for me, I felt like the kitchen really needed to be done. I needed to really do some laundry, and my husband can't operate the washing machine. So what I did was I was able to sort the laundry in the bedroom in different piles on the floor. And then he would put the pile that I wanted to wash first into the laundry basket and take that basket downstairs for me. And then with one hand, I could put that load into the washing machine. Thank goodness I've got a top loader. I could drop it into the washing machine, and then I could add my detergent, that kind of thing, and then set the washer, let it run. And then when it stopped, I could take the clothes out with one hand and then put them in the dryer. Now, here's the funny thing. So there's certain things that I don't put in the dryer: sweatshirts and sweatpants and good t-shirts and polo shirts and things like that. I don't put those in the dryer. I hang them to dry either on a drying rack or on a hanger. And I came down from taking a nap and he had thrown all those things in the dryer. I'm like, honey, did you put all those in the dryer? He said, yeah, I thought I was helping. I said, oh, no, that's fine. I'm just going to stop it now. So I think the dryer had been running for like 15 or 20 minutes. The things were almost dry, but not completely. So then I got them out and put them over the drying racks so that they could finish drying. But I delegated part of that activity, or I got assistance with part of that activity so that I wasn't having to do all of that on my own. So tip number 3 is to prioritize the task, think what you need to do is most important, and go from there. So tip number 1 was to start small. Tip number 2 was to create a schedule. And if you've already got a schedule or a routine, then to step in where you are and not try to take on the whole schedule, just one small part of that. And then prioritize those tasks that you feel like need to really be done. Tip number 4 is to declutter, and to start by clearing out any clutter that may have accumulated. And I was amazed at the amount of clutter that accumulated in my kitchen, in my bedroom, even in this office. I mean, right now it's really a hot mess. I thought I just can't worry about that right now. But there was so much tissue when you're laying on the bed and you're wiping your nose, or you're wiping your face, or you got the ice pack on, you've got this towel, whatever. So I accumulated a lot of clutter, shoes and different things by the bed. So if I was going to get up and put on a pair of slippers to have to trot to the bathroom or whatever. So one of the things though that he would come in and he would kind of like pick up all the tissue, put those in the trash, and he'll even come in here and just to kind of see what I'm doing, see if I've got any like coffee cups or something sitting in here that he needs to take downstairs. He's really been good about staying on top of that. But declutter as much as you can, and or clutter stop, meaning that those things that do have a home, put them where they belong. However, there were some days I just thought, well, it's just not important. I'm not going to worry about it because that wasn't as important on that particular day as maybe something else. Tip number 5 is going to be to enlist the help of family members or housemates to kind of help you do some of those things. I could not have gotten through this time period if my husband had not been so helpful. And here's the other thing. Blue Skies came over every day for like the first 4 or 5 days to make me breakfast. She would come over, and the first 3 days, she made me cream of wheat. Now, you guys know for me, cream of wheat is like the ultimate comfort food. So she came over, she made me cream of wheat. She would sit and talk with me. She would make me coffee, and we would just sit and chat. And it was just so nice. And, my mom used to make us cream of wheat when we were sick, when we were little. So it was just nice to have her come over and make cream of wheat for me. Now, my husband would have made cream of wheat, but he doesn't know how to make it kind of like my mom used to make it. So it was really nice to have her come over and do that. So I appreciated her doing that. And then, like I said, my husband pretty much did everything else. And I just, was the Queen of Sheba, not doing much of anything. So when you can get help, ask for help. So for you homemakers with littles, there's some things you may have to do, or if you need the help, see if you can get a family member to come over and assist you during the most difficult points of your convalescence, depending upon whatever it is. See if you can get some family members to come over and help. So that would be most helpful, because you really don't want to over exert yourself and then end up worse off than what you started. And now I will admit that I did get pretty bored just sitting there in the bed. I got so bored, I could have stuck a fork in my own eye. Like I said, I listened to so many books on my Kindle, and then Blue Skies loaded up my Kindle and my phone with some other library apps that I did not have, so that I was able to get access to other libraries and more books on CD, or more books from my, audio books on my Kindle that I could access. And so I could just lay there in the bed and just listen. And it was very helpful. And then, of course, I was watching different movies and things like that on my iPad, Amazon Prime and Netflix and that kind of thing. So let me jump over here and just see what some of the comments are real quick, because we haven't been there for a while. And Nanny J says, dust yourself off and move forward. Exactly, Nanny. And that's what I decided to do, is to just dust myself off and move forward. But I'm trying to move forward within reason. So, hey, Stephanie, glad to have you here. Zulika, glad to have you here. And yes, I am finally doing better. I'm starting to have a hot flash though. So yeah. Yes, yes, Ethel, I did name an apron after you. I got some explaining to do. We really got some girly pop going on with these spring aprons for spring, summer, and Mother's Day. We just thought we would see how you guys like the girly things. And most of the aprons in our line tend to be kind of girlish anyway, either flirty, skirty, or sassy, but these are really kind of girly. So we'll see how you guys like those. And yes, piles happen quickly when you don't deal with them. But I just decided, you know what? Those piles just are not a priority. So here's Kim. Hey, Kim, it's good to have you here. I'm so glad you're here. And Patience. Hey, is that a wedding picture that I'm seeing there? Oh my goodness. I think, Patience, you got some explaining to do. There's been something going on since you were last here with us. But yes, I am doing well now. Country Sister says, I'm coming up to speed. I'm getting there slowly but surely. Oh, so Hillary said they have rented an industrial sized dumpster. So they're working on the house, the garage, and the basement. You know what? I'm going to be working on all of that too, but it's going to be a minute before I get there. And so Carol says anytime she's overwhelmed, she prioritizes. That's her best tip for getting things done. Her husband taught her that. So I'm going to say boom to Carol for when you're overwhelmed, prioritize. That's the best tip for getting things done. So I definitely agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. Okay, so I think I did mention that one of the other things, tip number 6 is going to be to establish realistic goals about what you can actually do. And so, whereas at first, when I got started, I thought I was going to do all these things, and then it was like, okay, you can't, so just stop where you are and then leave the rest of it for the next day. Tip number 7 is going to be to use your time wisely, make the most of it. One of the things that I know about myself is that when I'm doing things, if I don't get for certain things, like if I'm going to do yoga or exercise, or if I'm going to have some quiet time for myself, if I don't do that first thing in the morning, life happens, the day happens, and then it gets away from me and I don't get back to it. So try to figure out when is your best time and then maximize on that, capitalize, I should say, on that so that you can get things done at your best time. Then that way you don't feel so overwhelmed. The other thing, which is tip number 8, you might consider doing is to establish cleaning zones when you're just really overwhelmed and you've got a lot to do. So that means to divide your house into manageable zones or areas and then focus on one area at a time. But since I do the Fly Lady cleaning system and I do zone cleaning, I already do that. But if you don't, then that might be something you might want to consider doing. And then tip number 9 is to practice self-care. Now, that was really important that I took the time to just rest so that I could regroup and come back to normal. I just had to take those naps and just be bored and sit with my hand up or take the medication to do what I needed to do to make myself feel better. So daily, right now, I'm still taking daily naps because I find that I just don't have the energy to complete a full day just yet. So I do take a daily nap for about 30 minutes to an hour. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm taking my anti-vertigo medications as needed. That medication makes me drowsy and it makes me sluggish, but it helps to clear my head up. So it's like I gotta do it. And then, of course, the pain medication as needed. So take the supports of the things that you need to do, um, of the things that you need to do to help you care for yourself. You've just got to. And then tip number 10 is to accept help as needed or ask for help if needed. So you guys know I'm usually the one doing all the doing. I'm usually the one that's helping everybody. And I just had to allow people to help me. And that was harder than I expected it to be. I'm so used to being the one doing, it was hard for me to accept help. When Blue Sky said, I'm going to come over and make you breakfast in the morning, I was like, oh, no, you don't need to do that. I'm like, Will can do it. And she's like, no, I'm coming over. And I was like, oh, she didn't have to do that. But it was so nice to have her here. I truly, truly appreciated it. So, and she came over for 3 or 4 days in a row to help me with either breakfast or with lunch. And it was needed. And like I said, my husband was here and he did stuff too, but it allowed him to take a break. And it also gave her and I time to spend together to just sit and talk, which we don't often get to do because a lot of times when we're together, we're busy doing things. But this time we were just sitting and talking, and I was eating and drinking tea or coffee or whatever. So there's that. So those are my 10 tips for how to get back on track when you need it. So that tip number 1 was to start small. You don't want to just try to get gung ho and do a whole lot of things at once. Tip number 2 is to create a schedule by focusing on a routine that you can manage. And then, as I say to those homemakers, if you're already on a routine, then just step in where you are. Don't worry about the past days, but just step in on today's activity and then move forward. Tip 3, prioritize your tasks. Tip 4, declutter, because you could be amazed at how much clutter can build up when you're not on top of it every day. Tip 5 is to delegate some of those things that you can't do to other family members. Tip 6, set realistic goals so that you're not overwhelming yourself, not taking on too much, and writing things down in your planner and notebook. And let me try to see if I can show you guys this. So one of the things that I do in my quiet time is decorate my planner. So this is one page, and so I'll decorate the planner at the top, and then I leave space so that I can write little notes in wherever I need to. And then at the bottom down here is where I'll put in my daily routine, evening routine, whatever zone I'm working on and the focus for the week. So Monday, I sat down and did that. And then this is like Friday through Sunday. And you can kind of see I've got space to write down what's going on in the menu over there. And then my to-do list is down there at the bottom. And I just use that to-do list kind of like as a brain dump so that I could just kind of just make a list of all the things that I wanted to try to get done in the next week. And then what doesn't get done, I'll move to the next week. But I can check off the things that I did get done. And so I can feel good about that. And then the other thing is that I can see what needs to be done and I can put those up in my on the daily schedule as I need to. So now let me just see what's going on over here in the chat. Oh, Patience says that's an old shot of her. They will have been married 4 years this September. Okay. And then Carol agrees her best time is nighttime. And she's currently on the treadmill. Yeah, Carol, I got to get mine done first thing in the morning because if I don't get back to it. And then Lurker says on a staycation with no real plans, ended up doing a lot of cleaning because she was not worn out from work. Yes, that was often my favorite thing to do when I had vacations from work was to clean the house because I didn't have time or the energy to do it when I was working. And then Carol says she's constantly decluttering. It is so satisfying to get unneeded things out of the house. And then here's the other thing. When you have all this stuff in the house, it's inventory that you have to manage. So if you can get it out of the house, then that's a fewer thing that you have to manage. So there's that to think about. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to? For those of you who just joined us, just as a reminder, I'm Denise Jordan, your host, and this is our bi-weekly show, Homemaking with Purpose. And today I'm letting you know where I've been, what I've been doing, and then I've given you 10 tips on how to get back on track. And I kind of shared with you how I've used those tips to get back on track myself. And then pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. So we've got some new aprons in for Mother's Day. You can see one of them back on the door. That one is called Mary. And I think the one on the couch back there is Fleur. Oh, and then one other thing, guys. It's just been crazy. So one day, um, we had the plumber out the week before, or a few days before I had my surgery. We had the plumber out, and we needed to have some faucets changed in the bathrooms, in the upstairs bathrooms. So we took everything out of both the bathrooms. The stuff in the bathroom across the hall, I had spread a towel down and put all the stuff on that sofa. And then the stuff that was in the other bathroom, we had set in our bedroom on the floor in a corner so that the plumbers could get access to the pipes and stuff underneath. Well, the plan was that we would get those things put away the next day. Well, it took a little bit longer than I anticipated to get that done. And then I ended up having a surgery and yada yada yada. And so we still had all that stuff on the couch. And I'm just like, okay. My husband was going to put it back, and I said, well, I'm going to declutter it first. I am just so glad he thought, I'm just going to go ahead and put those things back in the cabinet. You can declutter it when you get around to it. So that's what we ended up doing. So yeah. And then for those of you who are unaware, I have often been asked if I do one-on-one mentoring or coaching. And the answer to that question is yes. I'll put the link to sign up for cluttering in the description box. I do that. You sign up through my Patreon, and there's two tiers. There is the Prima link, which is the link that supports the channel, and you can get some exclusive content. And then the Elite link is the coaching link. So there's that for you to sign up for. And also, I invite you to sign up for my newsletter, The Homemaker's Journal. And I was so disappointed that I had to postpone my laundry lab challenge. I just was really looking forward to doing that, but I just wasn't able to do laundry. And I had some of the videos, a couple of the videos were done, and it was supposed to start on Monday, April 15th, but I just had the surgery was going to have the surgery on Thursday, April 11th. And then I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So you're just going to have to go ahead and just postpone it. So that's what I've done, is just postpone it. So I'm not sure when it's going to be rescheduled. I got to get myself completely up to par before I can do that. But do sign up for my newsletter, and I'll put all the necessary links in the description box below. And then one other thing that I've been doing a lot of, like watching videos on and reading about, is the Amazon influencer program. And I do have an Amazon store where I usually have links in the description box of things that are either always in my kitchen or things that I might be using in different videos. And the Amazon influencer program, that's a whole thing which I really wasn't aware of, and I was not very good about promoting the links to the various products that I use. I just kind of show them, and half the time I forget to put the links in, and people would say, well, where did you get that? So I'm trying to do a better job of that. So I am encouraging you guys to do check out those. If you should see something in one of the videos that interests you, check those out. And if you do click on those links, just know that if you purchase something, I do get a small commission at no additional charge to you. But I'm going to be working more in that regard as well. And let's see. I think I've got everything there. Okay, so let me get back over here. So Angel says she agrees 100% that the older she gets, the harder it is for her to manage all of her stuff. And I think that's in reference to inventory and decluttering. And yeah, and then sometimes, you don't even want to have to do that. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing. And then my husband is making noises about, do we want, well, that this house is really too large for us now. We don't need all this space. And then we've got the stairs, and I could really tell the toll that it takes on having to go up and down these steps while I was not at my best. Most days I do okay, but when I'm not at my best, I can feel it. So he's like, you know what? Maybe we need to downsize. Maybe we need a smaller house. Maybe we need something that's all on one level. So we're having those kind of conversations too. So yes, and Hillary says that me and Blue Skies are so sweet. So thank you. I appreciate that. So do you guys have any questions? Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to wrap up. Yeah, YouTube ain't going nowhere. So I'm starting to get a little tired. So I thought I would wrap this up unless you guys had questions about getting back on track. If there's something I can do to tips that I can give you for that. So otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up. So I'll wait a second to see if anyone has any questions about getting back on track. And if not, do check us out for our Mother's Day aprons. Order now. Quantities are limited. I do tend to buy in small amounts because we are a small shop. But then also, you want to get your things before Mother's Day. So, all right. So there's no questions. So, ladies, I am going to sign off, and I will catch you guys next week. I'm hoping to get a video up this weekend. I got a couple notes from YouTube. It's like, okay, I need to get some videos up. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.